a lot of people don't realize that there's a very adversarial relationship between financial gurus and mainstream financial planners like you and me. Um, they don't recognize that Dave Ramsey, for example, I tell the story at the beginning of the book, very first story I tell, about a guy in retirement. He calls up Dave Ramsey. He says, I got about $1 million, and my financial advisor says I can only take out 4% per year, but I want to start traveling for retirement. And so, would you think, Dave, that it's okay if I started to take 5% out per year? And so Dave says, your financial advisor is advising you that because if you spend more money, he gets to manage less money and therefore make less money. He's a financial planning lemming, and I actually had to look up what a lemming is. A lemming is a rodent that they travel in herds and they go over cliffs, apparently. So he's describing the mainstream financial community as a bunch of lemmings that just follow the latest trends over the cliff or wherever they might lead us, regardless of the consequences. And he also says financial advisors are like nerds punching on calculators in their parents' basement. So he is actively trying to demonize financial planners. And this is something that I think is lost on America. And so I wanted to really shine a light on that tension and that that very obvious effort on the part of financial gurus to demonize the rest of us. And I finally prevailed upon my literary agent. He sort of saw it after I beat on him for about 6 months. And so that was the first obstacle. The second obstacle was knowing that I would come face to face with some real financial behemoths. I mean, Dave Ramsey's worth $1 billion. Ken Fisher's worth $7.1 billion. Susie Orman's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I've already gotten a cease and desist from one of them. And so it's just mustering up and summoning the courage to actually take on these financial behemoths, knowing that they have unlimited resources that they can use to try to counter what I'm saying. And so that my business partner is like, Dave, you want to write a book about Dave Ramsey? You sure you want to do that? And when I got that first cease and desist from one of them, I sort of had his warning echoing into my brain. Is this really a road that I want to go down? But you know what? Nobody's ever written a book like this, and I felt like it had to happen. The third thing that the third challenge that I ran across was actually, believe it or not, getting some of the experts that are on our side to endorse the book. And the reason is because when you attack 5 of the biggest financial, gurus in the country, mainstream media personalities, it's like radioactive stuff. I mean, I had one of them say, Dave, Susie Orman's got millions and millions of followers. And some of Susie's followers follow me. I don't want to alienate, millions of people who potentially are my future clients, right? And so it was, I was lucky enough to get Wade Pfau to write the foreword, and then Tom Hegna wrote a blurb on the back. But I had 4 or 5 other people just flat out reject me. They just didn't want to go on record as having rejecting or demonizing or critiquing these mainstream financial gurus. So those are really the 3 challenges that I encountered in writing this book, and I've never encountered those challenges with any of the other books I wrote. So that's how I know I think this is going to make a pretty big splash because just of how radioactive the topic is.
I'm really glad you stuck to your guns and you kept on the mission, because I agree. I think it's really, really important. And so, like, during this process of writing this book, what were probably some of the most surprising things that you learned?
Well, when you do a book like this, you end up researching gurus even more profoundly than you had previously, right? So I did a deep dive on a lot of things that Dave Ramsey believes on a given set of financial topics. But I got to tell you that when you do a deep dive on these financial gurus, I was surprised to see that they're even more wrong on really important topics than I had previously believed. And I'll just give you an example. For example, Roth conversions. When I sent the manuscript to Wade Pfau to read it before he decided to do the foreword, he wrote me and he said, I had no idea that Dave Ramsey, for example, says that you should not do a Roth conversion if you're within 5 years of retirement. And he also says that you should not do a Roth conversion if you don't have the cash with which to pay the tax. He goes, both of those two things are mathematically wrong. So I knew that they were mathematically wrong. Wade Fowle agrees that they're mathematically wrong. And so Dave Ramsey, in his attempt to distill really complex topics into into pithy axioms and 10-second sound bites, he gets huge, important details wrong that are potentially going to get, for example, people to not even consider a Roth conversion because they're maybe 3 years away from retirement, or they're in retirement, or what have you. And so it was just to realize how profoundly wrong a lot of these gurus are on a number of topics. And it just reinforced my belief that we should not be turning to these financial gurus for any aspect of our retirement planning. We can turn to Dave Ramsey and maybe Susie Orman for the getting out of debt part. But when it comes to important retirement planning principles that require detail and finesse and customization, we should not be touching gurus with a 10-foot pole, because the more you prod at their recommendations, the more they tend to fall apart. And so that was surprising to me, and that's one of the things that I sort of expose in the book. Folks, my upcoming book, The Guru Gap, How America's Financial Gurus Are Leading You Astray and How to Get Back on Track, is now available for pre-order on Amazon. Take the opportunity to order your copy today. By the way, in the next 10 years, I'm looking to put 1 million Americans on the road to the 0% tax bracket. If you would like some help implementing a balanced, comprehensive approach to tax-free retirement that shields you from the impact of higher taxes down the road, head on over to davemcknight.com and click on the Connect with an Advisor button. I'm happy to refer you to an advisor in the Power Zero network that's been trained, vetted, and qualified personally by me. If you're a financial professional and want to learn how to become a certified Power Zero advisor, head over to powerzero.com and opt into my free video series. And if you have any comments or questions, feel free to drop them into the comment section below. I'll do my very best to respond to every single one of them personally. And don't forget to click like, subscribe, and the bell so you never miss a video. This is David McKnight. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.